From deep in the forest, high atop the great Smoky Mountains, this is Smoky Mountain Off-Grid. Today is January 31st, 2021, and this is the Month in Review. This podcast is sponsored by the good folks at Marshfield Contract Services. The cleanup of the storm damage from several months ago has begun, as well as the clearing for the new off-grid guest house that we will be building in the coming months. You can watch the progress of that project either on YouTube, the channel is Smoky Mountain Off-Grid, or on our website, SmokyMountainOffGrid.com. I've made the initial assessment of about 8,000 board feet of southern yellow pine was blown down in the immediate vicinity of where we're going to build the off-grid guest house. So we've determined that that's enough that most of the guest house will be built with that damaged pine. It's still yet to be determined whether I drag that damaged wood back to the sawmill, which is further back to the east on the property, or whether I bring the sawmill up to where the project, the guest house project, is going to be built. Springtime is coming, so we're starting to look at what we're going to plant for the garden this year. We've gotten a notice from one of our seed suppliers, Victory Seed Company, that this year's heirloom seeds are in short supply. So we're going to have to contact them to see if we can get some of the things that we try for every year. We plant heirloom seeds specifically so that we will have those seeds for next year should something happen to the market. And it appears that things are happening in the market. And with the shortage of supply, we're still going to be okay. We still have our heirloom seeds. So we'll see what happens with that. It's close to time, another couple of weeks, to start planting your tomatoes seeds for replanting in the spring. And all of that stuff is available on our website and YouTube channel as to how we do it and when we do it. You need to pay attention to our website because in respect to planting your garden, we're going to give you a little help in the coming issues of the website videos. We're going to give you a little help on getting your garden started early in the form of a giveaway and a tutorial on how we do it. Barb and I are both old folks, and we've been at this off-grid living and more self-sustainable living for a long time. But because of our age, medical issues have become a dominant factor in how and what we do. We're still waiting on various medical appraisals for surgery in Barb's eye, diabetic retinopathy, where they remove the fluid from your eye, and in her case, to get rid of the blood so that they can do laser to keep those blood vessels in her retina from rupturing. And of course, when you get old, you pay the price for years of the physical abuse, self-inflicted. So there's always a discussion about gaining mechanical advantage in order to make up for physical strength. And you have to circumvent these situations somehow or another. You can't just curl up on the couch and decide to let the world pass you by because things are changing and they're changing dramatically. And these are all things that we've forecasted for years. And now they've become the prevalent, dominant force in our society. Having said that, it's more important than ever to pay attention to what's going on in the world around us. So let me give you a few things from this month that are happening in our country, the United States of America. It has come to light this month that in the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, has engaged in insider trading and bought 25,000 options of Telsa stock at $500 a share. Telsa stock, for your information, is trading at over $800 a share now. So she's just made herself a big pot full of money using insider trading. There is a bill in front of the House of Representatives now that has been sent to committee, H.R. 127, and that's from the 117th Congress. You see, they don't change the numbering system from year to year in the House of Representatives. They do it every other year. So there is an H.R. 127 from the 116th Congress, which is last year. But H.R. 127 from the 117th Congress, which has been sent to committee, is a direct attack on our Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment, of course, is the right to bear arms. So that if that gets passed, we're in a world of hurt. Especially if you're interested in self-sustainable living and homesteading and those types of things, because it won't allow us to be able to protect ourselves anymore. There's all kinds of limits on all kinds of guns, and big fines, big prison terms, big everything. And just let me just give you an example. See, nobody talks about this stuff. I don't know where all of these conservatives are. They talk about all the stupid little stuff, but they don't talk about the big things. And this is a big deal. And it limits the type of firearms you can have. It also says that you have to register your guns regardless of how long you've had them. So if you've had them for 100 years in your family and they're passed on from generation to generation, they have to be registered with the federal government. The federal government. And within 3 months of the time of passage of this, the federal government, the Attorney General, is going to publish a list publicly of all of the guns that are in the United States of America. So, in addition to that, if you don't register your gun, if it's a borrowed gun or if you own the gun and you've had it from before the times of all this background checks and stuff like that, if you don't register that gun, you're facing I forget the exact $75,000 and 10 years in jail. That's not $75,000 or 10 years in jail. That's $75,000 and 10 years in jail. In addition to that, you have to have 24 hours of training, and you have to have insurance. And the insurance is purchased through the Attorney General's office, and it's $800 a year. So, I mean, this is crazy stuff. In order to get a license, you're going to have to, do the 24-hour training. You're going to have the insurance, and you have to have a psychological evaluation. And if you have some type of a military-style weapon, and boy, that's a broad category, isn't it? Weapon. That isn't just guns, by the way. Then you have to have, in addition to your psychological evaluation, 2 members of your household have to have psychological evaluations, and any former spouses have to be interviewed. So, I mean, this is nuts, and it isn't just the weapons, it isn't just the guns. It also puts limitations on ammunition. So, if your gun holds more than 10 rounds, and a clip as a semi-automatic holds more than 10 rounds, well, it's outlawed outright. But if you're caught in possession of ammunition over 50 caliber, or more ammunition than they determine you're supposed to have, or a clip that has more than 10 rounds in it, or a capacity to hold more than 10 rounds, doesn't have to have the rounds in it, the bullets in it, then that's a $50,000 fine and 10 years in prison. Not $50,000 or 10 years in prison. That's $50,000 and 10 years in prison. And this is federal prison. If you're caught with a gun without insurance, and the insurance is $800 a year, made payable to the Attorney General of the United States of America. Joe Biden just issued an executive order just in the last week that he's reversing the executive order that Trump did to lower the price of insulin. Well, that affects us directly. So now, we're going back to, we were paying, $40 a vial, EpiPen. And, thanks to Donald Trump, now we're going back to $400. So we're looking at $800 a month for insulin, which is totally ridiculous. And to our northern neighbors, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has outlawed the physical currency in Canada. Paper money, coins, that kind of stuff, it's outlawed as of January 1st of this year. So why isn't anybody talking about that stuff? No, they're too interested in, GameStop and Robinhood, which is a hedge fund, and, the manipulation of the markets. So they're not talking about meat and potatoes. They're just talking about the elite that have plenty of money, and, that they're losing money, or, they're manipulating the market, or whatever it is. I mean, what was the first news article I brought up? Nancy Pelosi. Of course they're manipulating the market. Insider trading, all that kind of stuff. Of course they're doing that. They're flexing their muscles. This is a new administration. They're doing whatever they want to do and whatever they think they can get away with. And until somebody stops them, we're in trouble. And this is going to continue to happen, which is why we live off-grid most of the time. We have a house in town for medical appointments and all that kind of stuff, which we're pretty much staying in town these days because there's been a lot of medical stuff. So, but once we get that squared away, then we're back on the homestead. So, trying to look forward. We've got the guest house build. We're going to have, we got garden to start. And, we've got some information that might be useful to you in the future, because we're going to experience food shortages this year, and inflation, not supply and demand inflation, but inflation because the currency is devalued. So there's going to be, a lot of that kind of stuff. And the thing that I've been forecasting for years, that they would have to do because of this modern monetary theory, which is to eliminate our currency and go totally digital. We'll be the last ones on the planet to do that. Our Constitution kind of protects us better than the one in Canada does. And Europe will go the same way as Canada in eliminating their currency to a digital currency. You see, what that does is that allows whatever the government is to control everything you do. You go, and you go to the grocery store and you want to buy 2 cases of soda pop, and they can refuse to let you buy that because they control your money. You stick your EBT card or whatever the heck the darn thing is, your ATM card, in the reader and stuff like that. You put in the 2 cases of soda pop, and they say, but you can only have 1 case. Just like they did with bread. The last time they shut down, the first time they shut down, they did that with bread and toilet paper. So that's what they're after. And the more self-sufficient you can become, the better off you're going to be. So pay attention to what's going on. And we'll show you how to do it on the cheap. We're not rich. And, we're old and slow. So, pay attention. And we'll get you through this thing if nobody else will. So hang in there, keep apprised, and pay attention. That's all I can tell you, and that's all I got for this time. So until next time, toodaloo.